A very warm welcome. I am Dr. Abhijit Das, professor at ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. The subject we will be discussing today is consumer behavior and marketing communications, which is part of marketing specialization. The code is KMB MK02. Now, we will be discussing another topic from unit 2, and this topic is very interesting. The topic is attitude. Now, in our day to day lives, even students refer to each other saying this person has an attitude or this lady has a particular attitude, right. So, that is not really the sense in which we study attitude. Attitude is very different in the normal, from the normal context in which we generally use this term. In a general context, attitude seems to have a negative connotation. We say people with attitude is so and so, but attitude is something which is very different. Now, what are attitudes or what is attitude? So, attitude is a learned predisposition to behave in a consistently favorable or unfavorable manner with reference to a given object. Now, favorable, unfavorable means it may be positive or negative, and with reference to an object, that object could be a product, it could be a human being, it could be anyone. So, we may have a positive or negative predisposition towards an object, a product, a brand, or even a human being. Now, how are attitudes formed? They are formed as a result of either direct experience with the product. I use a product, I used a particular laptop and I was satisfied with that particular laptop. I used it for 8 years. So, as a result I have developed a positive predisposition or positive or favorable attitude towards that particular brand of laptop. The other could be information acquired from others and exposure to mass media. Now, a relative of mine bought a laptop which started malfunctioning within a year. So, I developed an unfavorable or negative attitude towards that particular brand of laptop. So, this is information which I have acquired from others. My relative told me do not buy this particular brand, it is not durable. And the third is exposure to mass media. Today, we have different sources of mass media to which we are exposed. We have television, we have hundreds of sources, we have social media, we have mobile phones, we have internet, and all of these media are bombarding consumers with information regarding products and services. So, as a result of all this information, people might form favorable or unfavorable, positive or negative predispositions towards certain brands, products, objects, and so on. Now, attitudes have a certain amount of consistency. That means, once an attitude has been formed, it does not change easily, but attitudes also occur within a situation. Now, let us presume that I have a very favorable attitude towards a particular brand of soft drink. So, I go to a shop and I ask for that particular brand of soft drink. Now, that particular brand is not available. So, what will I do? I will choose another product, another brand, whichever is available. So, although I had a favorable attitude towards one brand, I selected another brand because of the situation. Now, let us look at structural models of attitudes. What are attitudes? How are they formed and how do they affect the consumption behavior or consumer behavior? Now, why do we study attitude as part of consumer behavior is because people form attitude towards certain products or brands, and this attitude determines which particular product or brand they will buy or consume. So, this is why we study attitude as part of consumer behavior, and it is an integral and important part of the study of consumer behavior. Your attitude will determine which brand, which product you are going to buy. Now, there are 4 models of attitude we will study today. We call them structural models of attitude. That is the tri-component model, the multi-attribute attitude model, the trying to consume model, and attitude towards the ad model. These are 4 basic structural models of attitude which we will study, and in these attitude models we will study how are attitudes formed and why are they formed, and if at all there is some way of changing attitudes. Like I have said, attitudes are consistent, not easy to change, but yet they can be changed in certain ways. So, we will start with the first model of attitude, and that is the tri-component model. Now, as the name suggests, tri-component means there are 3 components in this particular model of attitude. So, these 3 components are cognitive, affective and conative component. So, these 3 components determine how an attitude is developed by a person towards a particular product, object, brand and so on. Now, the first component is cognitive. So, cognitive component pertains to the fact that if a person develops a belief and attitude about a product based on a personal interaction, he has actually used it. Like I said, I have actually used a particular brand of laptop and I found it to be very durable. So, cognitive is a logical thinking, analyzing, rational process by which a person develops an attitude, positive or negative, favorable or unfavorable, towards a person or object, or in the case of consumer behavior we will consider various products or brands. So, this attribute has been formed in the mind of the consumer based on some rational thinking, analyzing process, or generally it is formed as a result of direct interaction with a product or brand. So, direct interaction, consumer learns that this product is of good quality. Second component is exactly opposite of this component, and that is the affective component. Affective means pertaining to emotions and sentiments. Cognitive component pertains to rational factors, and affective component pertains to emotional and sentimental factors. Now, I develop a favorable attitude towards a particular product or brand because it was given to me as a gift by my mother or my sister or my brother, right. So, because of the emotional attachment towards a certain product or a brand, I develop a emotional content and a favorable attitude towards the particular product or brand. So, that is the affective component. So, cognitive component was rational and affective component is the emotional component of attitude, that is attitude has been formed as a result of the emotion may be positive, the emotion may be negative also. I will give you an example of a negative affective component also. Now, I went to there was a death in the family, a very close member of the family had passed away. So, when I was sitting there, a particular brand of incense sticks, that is agarbatti, had been lighted and that had a very peculiar fragrance. Now, I developed an unfavorable or negative attitude towards that particular brand and that particular fragrance, because it was associated with a negative event in my life. So, this is how affective components or emotional components can have a positive or negative effect on a person's assessment of a product. Third is the conative element. Now, conative element pertains to whether a person has any intention of buying a particular product or not. So, if I do not intend to buy an imported luxury car, I might not have a positive or favorable attitude towards that particular brand of cars. Why? Because I have no intention of buying it, I cannot afford an imported luxury car. So, I do not have any intention of buying it. So, my attitude towards that particular brand of car may not be favorable. So, this was about the tri-component model. The next is the multi-attribute models. Now, I have mentioned the word models, that means there are certain more than one model in this case. Now, attitude models which combine the composition of consumer attitude in terms of selected product attributes or beliefs. Now, what will happen here is that attitudes are formed as a result of beliefs. So, I believe this product or this particular brand is of good quality. So, I develop a positive or favorable predisposition towards that particular object or brand. So, based on my belief about that particular product or brand. Now, as I said that multi attribute models. So, there are several models in the multi attribute model. The first is attitude towards the object model, second attitude towards the behavior model, and third theory of reasoned action. Now, the first is attitude towards the object model. So, here attitude is a function of evaluation of product specific beliefs and their evaluation. Now, what happens is I develop a favorable or unfavorable attitude towards a particular product or brand based on my belief whether that particular product or brand contains certain features. So, I develop a positive or favorable attitude towards a brand of mobile phone because I consider that mobile phone has the best camera. So, my belief about this mobile phone is that it has the best camera. The second part is that I believe that in a mobile phone camera is the most important feature. So, based on these two factors, the attitude towards the object model will say that I will have a favorable predisposition or attitude towards this brand of mobile phone for two reasons. One, I believe it has the best camera, and I believe that this camera is the most important feature in a mobile phone. Then the second is attitude towards the behavior model. Now, is the attitude towards behaving or acting with respect to an object rather than the attitude towards the object itself. Now, I may have a favorable attitude towards buying a luxury car, or might have a favorable attitude towards buying an expensive mobile phone worth 80,000 rupees, but I may have a negative or unfavorable attitude towards the act of purchasing. So, although I have a favorable attitude towards a very expensive model of a mobile phone, I really like that, but my attitude towards the act of purchasing that mobile phone is unfavorable, that it is not worth spending 80,000 rupees to buy a mobile phone. Fine. Now, I have a favorable attitude towards a luxury car worth 50 lakh rupees, but I might have a negative attitude or unfavorable attitude towards the act of purchasing a luxury car and spending 50 lakh rupees. So, I might have an unfavorable attitude towards the act of purchasing the product, but a favorable attitude towards the product. So, this is attitude towards the behavior model, whereby we study not the attitude towards a particular object or brand or product, but towards the act of purchasing that particular brand or product. Next is theory of reasoned action. Now, this theory of reasoned action is a very comprehensive and integrated model of attitude. Now, we have a very simplified version of theory of reasoned action. It says this is the behavior. Now, this is the behavior. Now, this behavior is the act of purchasing a product. We are studying consumer behavior, consumption behavior. So, this behavior is the act of purchasing a particular product. Now, this behavior is formed as a result of two aspects. One is attitude towards the behavior and subjective norms. Now, these two together help us in forming a intention to purchase a product, and when I develop an intention to purchase a product, I might finally buy the product or I might not even buy the product. Now, what are subjective norms? If you look at this, it is beliefs that the behavior leads to certain outcome and evaluation of that outcome. This leads to attitude towards the behavior. So, belief that this behavior, that means suppose I wish to buy a laptop. So, what is the outcome of my buying a new laptop? I want to purchase a new laptop, and what is my belief that what will this buying a new laptop, what will this behavior will lead to what kind of outcome. So, I believe it will help me in improving my teaching and my lectures and so on. So, this is the belief that I have towards the act of purchasing a new laptop. Second is evaluation of the outcome, that means how important is it for me to present good lectures, how important is it for me to present good lectures by using a new laptop. So, I take these two beliefs together, and these two help me in forming an attitude towards the behavior, that means attitude towards the act of purchasing a laptop. So, my belief is that I want to buy a new laptop and it will lead to an outcome, I will be able to improve my teaching, and evaluation of outcome, how important is it to deliver better lectures, it is very important. So, based on these two, I will develop an attitude towards the behavior or the act of purchasing a laptop. Now, this attitude towards the behavior will lead to formation of an intention to purchase the particular product. Now, there are certain other factors, that is something called subjective norm, which also affects my purchase decision. Now, subjective norms are formed of again two factors: belief that specific reference think I should or should not purchase the product or this particular behavior. Now, what will happen is, let us take for example, I want to buy a new laptop, and what is my belief that specific reference means people who are close to me, my wife, my family, my friends, my children. What do they think about this act of purchasing a new laptop? So, my wife thinks, her belief is that it is a waste of money, you already have a laptop and it is doing fairly well. So, why do you want to buy a new laptop? So, her belief is that this act of buying a new laptop will not serve any useful purpose. So, she has an unfavorable attitude towards my decision to buy a new laptop. Motivation to comply with the specific reference. Now, how motivated I am to comply with the belief of my wife. People who are married will understand that it is very important for a person to follow the beliefs and value of his or his wife. So, if I am very concerned about what my wife believes, that it is a waste of money for me to buy a product, I will not buy that product. So, these two beliefs and motivation to comply with the wish of the referent will help in forming subjective norms. So, attitude towards the behavior, that is act of purchasing a laptop, and subjective norms which depend upon the beliefs of my immediate family or friends or immediate society. So, based on these two, I will develop an intention to buy or not to buy the product, right. Now, intention may be to buy the product, and it will lead to an outcome, that is behavior in terms of buying the product. So, once I develop an intention, I will buy the product. and if I develop an intention not to buy the product, the behavior will be not buying the product. So, intention may be to buy also and intention may be to not buy also. Behavior may be to buy a product and behavior may also be not to buy a product. Now, we come to another model which is known as attitude towards the ad model. Now, if we see that today we are being continuously bombarded with and exposed to advertisements through various media. Those media may be television, internet and newspaper, magazines and so on. So, everywhere we are being bombarded with lot of advertisements, and these advertisements do have some kind of impact on our attitude towards products and brands. Now, this model proposes that a consumer forms various feelings or affective component and judgments or cognitive component as a result of exposure to an advertisement, which in turn affects the consumer's attitude towards the ad and attitude towards the brand. Now, this model distinguishes between two different forms of attitude. One is attitude towards the brand and one is attitude towards the advertisement. So, I might have a favorable attitude towards the advertisement if I like the advertisement, and I might have an unfavorable attitude towards the product, or vice versa. I might have a favorable attitude towards the product and unfavorable attitude towards the advertisement. So, this is what is known as the attitude towards the ad model. Now, again this model also, like the tri-component model, had 3 components. This has 2 components. The affective component means pertaining to emotions and sentiments, and the cognitive component, cognitive means the rational thinking, analyzing process. So, this model considers these 2 factors in development of attitude towards a product or brand which the consumer is willing to buy. Now, let us look at this entire concept of how attitudes are formed as a result of exposure to advertisements. Now, exposure to an ad is the first thing here. Exposure to an advertisement. So, the consumer is exposed to an advertisement, as a result of which he develops feelings towards the advertisements. So, feelings towards the advertisement means that he develops emotional, this is the emotional content. So, feelings from the ad, that is affective component of attitude. So, as a result of exposure to the advertisement, I develop feelings towards the advertisement. Now, these feelings may be positive or negative. Similarly, exposure to the advertisement leads to formation of judgment about the advertisement. Now, judgment is again, judgment is a cognitive process, thinking, rational analysis. So, I develop feelings which is a emotional component, and as a result of exposure to the advertisement, I develop judgment which is based on my rational thinking and analyzing process. Now, these two later lead to formation of attitude towards the ad and beliefs about the brand. So, exposure to the advertisement and feelings from the ad, these two lead to development of attitude towards the advertisement. So, I might have a favorable or unfavorable attitude towards the advertisement, but this favorable or unfavorable attitude towards the advertisement will be based on several factors. One is feelings which I have developed about the advertisement, my judgment about the advertisement. These two things will lead to formation of my attitude towards the advertisement. Second is belief about the brand. So, belief about the brand will depend upon my judgment about the advertisement, whether it is good or bad, feelings about the advertisement. So, my favorable feelings about the advertisement may lead to formation of favorable beliefs about the product, right. So, exposure to the ad will lead to formation of beliefs about the brand, judgment about the ad and feelings about the ad, and all of them will lead to formation of beliefs about the brand. So, now I have two things, one I have attitude towards the advertisement and the second is beliefs about the brand. These two things will together lead to formation of attitude towards the brand. So, as a result of exposure to these two advertisements, the consumer might form a favorable or unfavorable attitude towards that particular brand. Now, strategies for attitude change. In the first definition of attitude and characteristics of attitude, I had mentioned that attitudes are consistent. So, if attitudes are consistent, that will mean it's a paradox that we cannot change attitudes, but attitudes can be changed under certain circumstances. So, how do we change attitude? First is by changing the basic motivational function. Now, what is the basic motivational function? Why do I buy a particular product? Let us take for example, I want to buy a car. So, I am looking for the most fuel efficient car. My motive for buying a car is I want the most fuel efficient car. I go to the car showroom, I said I want to buy this car, this particular model because it is most fuel efficient. Now, the salesman convinces me, say it is not fuel efficiency which is important, this other model has a better engine, this will last longer and give you more power. So, my attitude might be changed as a result of the basic motivational function. Now, these basic motivational functions may be value expressive, utilitarian function. Utilitarian function means changing the basic utility function, what satisfaction are we getting from that particular product. Like the salesman convinced me it is fuel efficiency is not important, what is more important is the quality of the engine. Value expressive motivation means that it gives me or supports my personal self perception about me. So, if it supports my self perception, I will buy that product and may lead to change in attitude towards that particular product. Now, next is associating the product with an admired group of or event. So, if a product is being shown as being sponsor of a major event like IPL, I might develop a change and attitude towards the product. Resolving two conflicting attitudes, very interesting concept. Now, I like drinking soft drink, but I also have a negative unfavorable attitude or belief that it leads to weight gain. Now, there is a conflict between two attitudes. Okay, one I like it, but it is not healthy. So, the company develops a diet version which will help in removing this conflict between attitudes. Altering components of the multi attribute model, we have seen various components of the multi attribute model. So, you have to convince the consumer which attribute is more important and which attribute is less important, as a result of which he or she will be able to change his attitude. And the last, changing beliefs about the competitor's brand. Now, if you cannot change belief about your own product or brand, you can at least change belief about the competitor's brand, so that you can make the the consumer develop a negative feeling or negative attitude and negative beliefs about the competitor's brand. So, if you cannot develop a favorable attitude towards your brand or product, you develop a unfavorable attitude towards the competitors products. So, this is how we can use various strategies for changing attitude, and that is all about attitude, and thank you very much.